Hey guys, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux, and it is that time of the week again. MakuluLinux Unity Desktop has finally entered beta stage. So it's finally entered the beta phase. It's been a long journey. Poor testers have had to download hundreds and hundreds of ISOs. Well, not that many, I think about 5 or 6, maybe 10, I don't know. I've put them through hell. Lots of things I had to fix, especially adapting installers and constructor kits to work with Ubuntu, getting the EFI to work, getting the desktop bugs fixed, a lot of instability issues, blah blah blah, you name it, we've been through it. But it's finally entered beta phase. It's now running stable, it's running nice, it's smooth. One of the testers is running on an old DV4 laptop, which I think is like ancient, and he says it flies on that laptop. He says it just runs so nice and smooth. So I'm just going to show you what's new, what's been going on, how it all fits together. So this is the beta 1 Unity desktop video from MakuluLinux. So to get started, I guess I know a lot of people are probably going to see this video for the first time, so I'm just going to cover the basics. The guys that have watched it, sorry to put you through a few minutes of repeat video, but basically what Makulu Unity Desktop is all about is a 3-panel system. The default Unity only has the side launcher, which is about double the size of this launcher. I've reduced the size quite a lot. Actually, it might be slightly more than double the size of this launcher. And then you've got a top panel, which obviously has your plugins, and if you actually open up something like a window, it has your controls. Okay, now we introduced the bottom panel, which is something new, and you don't see that every day in Unity. Especially the fact that I've actually made it function like a bottom panel. You've got a start menu, classical menu. You've got favorites icons that you can put here. I've only put one because I use this as my favorites. You've got your Windows list, and you have a clock in the bottom corner. You also have an update manager in the bottom corner. Two things you will not see in any Unity edition. So pretty much you've got a bottom panel that acts like a bottom panel, and when you're not using it, it actually fades into the background. See that? I move my mouse over it, it highlights. I move my mouse away, it fades into the background, which is pretty cool because when you're not using the bottom panel, you don't want to see the bottom panel. You don't want your desktop cluttered with 3 panels all the time. So if you're not using it, it kind of fades off into the background. And if you actually open up something like, let's take, no, not Ubuntu Tweak. Yeah, well, Ubuntu Tweak. You can actually use that space. You see that? You can actually use that bottom space. It's usable while that space is not occupied by an icon or anything. You can actually use that space. So the bottom panel does not interfere with your actual desktop. You can make full use of that space. But when you do maximize something full screen, it will reserve the space for additional icons. So how cool is that? That you actually have a bottom panel that functions like a bottom panel, but doesn't interfere with your actual desktop when you don't want it to. And not just that, when you're not using it, it fades off into the background. So now, apart from the fact that those 2 little icons are there, you probably wouldn't even know there's a bottom panel. So it fades off, nice, when you need it, it highlights, the rest of the time it fades off. So that's the bottom panel that we introduced into the Unity desktop. Fully functional with an update manager. There's no updates at the moment, but the fully working update manager, a clock, and if you click the clock, it will actually bring up a really nice calendar app with tasks, contacts, notes, you name it. So that's pretty awesome. So very useful clock and calendar. Right, so that's the 3-panel system. Now what this allows you to do is pretty much work on your desktop the same way you would normally, except without leaving whatever you're doing. You have access to almost your whole computer. On the top you've got your wallpaper changer that you can change wallpapers. You've got your weather, you've got your clipboard, Bluetooth, feed readers, desktop notifications, network, your chat pigeon, battery monitor, all of that. You've got your controls over here, so you can actually edit anything, preferences of the app that you're in. You've got your favorites here, so you can launch icons directly from here, and you can add many more, because this is scrollable. I've got 12 in here of your favorites. You can edit these as you want. At the bottom you've got a classical start menu. Over there you've got the dash menu on top. Bottom, classical start menu, so you can access any additional apps that aren't in your favorites. You can update your repositories quickly, Windows list, update manager, and clock. So you've got access to all of this without needing to even minimize a single window of where you're currently working on or what you're currently doing. So that is pretty awesome, because even with the normal standard desktop bottom panel, you probably could only fit 4 or 5 favorite icons in here, otherwise it starts getting cluttered. So here you can literally add 20 or 30 icons, so you can have access quickly to pretty much any app you want without needing to minimize a single window. So that's what the 3-panel system is all about. It works really well, because once you start actually using it, and you actually see how quickly it is to access things without having to, do anything. I mean, yeah, you can maximize the window just by a single click. You can do the same on the side panel with a single click. So if your mouse is closer to the top, you just move to the side and minimize and maximize. If your mouse is closer to the bottom, you just do it over here. So the whole desktop is designed to work quickly and efficiently to do what you need to do. So yeah, so the whole desktop environment in Unity, the way it's set up with Makulu Unity, is designed to quickly and efficiently allow you to use the system. And it's fast, it's very fast. Like I said, as you can see, I've got wobbly windows enabled, I've got the cube enabled, I've got the unfolded cube enabled, I've got the cylinder enabled. So there's a lot of features here, a lot of animation and a lot of effects running here. And still this is able to run on a fairly old system with full speed. So it's a very beautiful desktop as well. You will have noticed that as well. You've got some beautiful wallpapers here. You've got some beautiful eye candy with the themes. It really is a beautiful system. You've got some transparency on the window borders, something that most people say is unable to do in Unity, but it is there. As you can see, I can drag that window border over something, you can see right through it. You've got a lot of just beautiful eye candy. It really is a beautiful desktop. A lot of work went into bringing this. Even your things like your menus, your right click menus, they are semi-transparent as well. So you've got a lot of beautiful things here. It's a very pretty desktop, running very stable in beta 1. So the bottom panel, you all know that functions. I've showed that in the previous videos. Those guys that haven't watched them, you can always go look on the Makulu website and go through the previous videos, step by step see the progress as we designed this bottom panel. The new thing in the beta 1, obviously, before I get to that, the themes. I've done some work on the themes. I've removed some, added some. We've pretty much got these themes here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 themes. So you've got 8 default themes in Makulu Unity Desktop. The first one is the Makulu Black, which is a very dark theme, but it highlights very sort of a light gray, and it's a very flat theme. You'll notice everything is very kind of flat, which is kind of nice, but it is a very dark theme. That's why it's called Makulu Black. Then you've got Makulu Blue Dark. Okay, now that has a kind of a very gray / blue kind of theme, but the border highlights very bright. So that's pretty cool. It's a very nice theme. And then you've got a dark theme, which is similar to the black theme, but it's not as black. The black was much darker. This is just a very dark theme with a sort of a, goes from very dark gray to black. And of course, it's got dark blue highlights. So everything about it is dark. Then you've got the dark blue. Now you had the blue dark and you got the dark blue. Now the blue dark was, the reason it's called blue dark is because it's first blue and then it's dark, you know. So it's blue with a bit of dark. The dark blue is because it's very dark and then it has some blue in it. Okay, as you can see, it's got sort of like a little bit of a blue kind of look to it, but it's more dark than anything else. And it's very transparent, as you can see. It's a pretty cool theme. Also very flat. Then you've got the Makulu gray theme. Okay, that's very gray. It's light gray, dark gray. The menus are gray. So that's Makulu gray theme. Then you've got the Makulu light theme, which is the default theme. It's very similar to the gray theme, except where the gray theme is light gray, this is white. It also has the dark menu though, the dark gray menu. That's the default theme. Then you've got the Makulu monochrome, which is very similar to the Makulu gray theme. However, it is very flat as well, and the menus are darker and lighter at certain places. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got the Makulu night theme. Now the night theme, I think this was originally based off the polar theme, which is a very kind of a blue look, you know, kind of a bluish look, but like a night, almost like a dark night, but it highlights very, very bright blue, as you can see also. And as you can see, all the menus are always transparent on most of these, but not transparent that you cannot see. As you can see with the highlights, all the themes, I've made sure that the text is clearly visible where needed be. So you've got 8 nice themes that come by default. You can install more as well, obviously. The icon theme is the buff icon, it's not buff, it's burf, the burf icon theme. So you've got some beautiful themes in MakuluLinux Unity Desktop. If you go to wallpaper selector, you'll see you've got some really, really stunning wallpapers, some new additions, some really nice stuff. So you've got a nice variety of wallpapers. You know, stunning wallpapers. Some new, some old, some you'll recognize, some you won't. This is one of my favorites. That's another of my favorites. I'm actually undecided of which of these two to put into the final. It will definitely be one of these two. Anyway, so so you've got some really nice wallpapers that come out. I didn't make the selection too big this time. I know I usually go a little bit overboard with wallpapers. This time I didn't want to. I'm just going to put just, you know, 5 or 10 wallpapers in. But so you got some stunning wallpapers, easy to control right from your top panel there. Bottom panels working, side panels working, top panels working. The whole desktop just flows. And then the new addition in this video is the Makulu Help Center, which is just, as you can see, look where it opens. It actually opens at there where the bottom panel is supposed to be. So you see, even there, the bottom panel is not interfering with your normal desktop. If I made this full screen, as you can see now, it doesn't occupy that space. But when I make it small, it will. For example, if I open up for the first time, there you go. But make it full screen, it doesn't interfere. You see what I mean? How awesome is that? Anyway, I've made a little Makulu Help Center. This is for the new guys. There's an install guide, how to move your bottom panel, how to auto hide the side panel, change themes, change wallpapers, and I'll still fill this up with as I find things that new users might struggle with, or as people ask on the you know, once it's released, they may ask more stupid questions like how do I do this and how do I do that, and if I see it's a problem that keeps coming up or something that keeps coming up that they request, I'll put a little guide in here, because this little control center is linked to the Makulu repo, or it will be by final version, so I can always add extra. I can fill this whole thing up over time. For now I've just started with it, so over the next few days I may put a couple more in here. But a very nice little center, you know, you just double click there. If you actually hover your mouse over it, will actually give you a description of what the item is and what it's supposed to do. And if you click on it, will actually open up a video. So it's a full-on video guide showing you step by step. You can follow me as I do things. So very awesome. So the whole system is now coming together nicely. Installer is now working. That was one of the biggest issues, was the installer that had to be adapted from Debian to Ubuntu based, because this is Ubuntu based. I mean, this is based on 14.04.2 LTS, which means it's got long-term support to somewhere 2019, 2020. So you got quite a long life in this, which is nice. So yeah, that's the beta 1 of the Makulu Unity Desktop. This can be a very unique desktop, very easy to use, very comfortable to use. You got your 3-panel center, your 3-panel system that just kind of just flows. And you know, under normal circumstances, it would look almost like everything's cluttered because you kind of limit your space, your usage space, but you don't really, because if you maximize a window, the title bar is part of the top panel. You know what I mean? So you would normally on a normal desktop environment, when you make a panel top application full screen, you would have this title bar on the top, and you'd have a bottom panel. So, and remember, you can set this as to auto hide as well. This bottom panel you can set to auto hide. Side panel you can set to auto hide. So if you want, you could hide both of these panels and have just the top panel showing as well. You know, so that's pretty cool. Although I would not recommend it though, because like I said, these actually designed to kind of, and remember I'm working in VirtualBox here, so my space might look small. Well, on actual hardware we have a much bigger resolution. This open space here doubles. It becomes much larger. This actual workspace over here, you know, the icon's much smaller, the workspace much bigger. So trust me, this really runs well. The testers, quite a lot of the testers, they're much older than me, so you know, and they're set in their ways, obviously, as people are. I mean, I get set in my ways. When you use a desktop for a couple of years, you kind of like that desktop. You don't like new things. You don't like changes and panels being forced onto you. But a lot of these testers seem to really love this Unity look. The one tester has been using XFCE for 6 years as his main desktop. I heard him the other day say that you know, after using this, he's seriously considering replacing his XFCE with this. So you got to know, for a guy that uses XFCE as his default desktop, you know, those guys that like XFCE, they kind of die with XFCE. To consider to replace this desktop with this, that's how well this runs. I'm telling you, this is going to be one magical release. So yeah, so that's the beta 1 basically. As you can see, everything's running well, very stable. Desktop's very stable, no crashes. You got the help center, which is new. That will help new guys, and even guys that aren't new. You know, any kind of things that you struggle with, I'll add in here. So very quickly you can get to guides. Very nice, very useful. And you got a fully functional bottom panel with a clock and a nice calendar app. Very awesome. You've got the update manager right at your fingertips. So that's pretty cool. I don't like it that big. I like it like that. There we go. Update manager, which gives you update notifications in your bottom panel. So that's pretty cool. That's unheard of in Unity, by the way. You got Synaptic Manager. The other new thing is, I actually saw a post where somebody actually said that most of the distros come out without a virtual keyboard, you know, on-screen keyboard. To that guy, if you're watching, because I know you watched some of our last videos, I have added a on-screen keyboard. There's the Florence virtual keyboard, which is a really nice little on-screen keyboard, and you can resize it. What's that? Florence is running. Click on okay. Which is a really nice virtual keyboard, and you can change the look and so forth. And when you actually push a button, it kind of zooms over the button, which is cool. And like I said, you can resize this. I think, you know, I'm not too familiar with all of the, but I think there is there's a lot of customizations you can do on Florence. Oh, that's to bring up the menu. So so yeah, Florence virtual keyboard, pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. This is now entered beta, so release is really not far off. From here on, it's just polishing. This may even be out by next week or the week after. I don't know. That will really depend on any last minute bugs we find. But I am really happy with the progress. Really happy. This started off very wonky, very wobbly, a lot of things not working, and then suddenly we got it kind of stable, and then everything broke again, especially with the installer. And then then I guess at that point, me and the testers, kind of the communication started flowing, and so we identified key problems, those key problems that needed to be fixed. Instead of worrying on every little thing, there were just a few key areas that needed attention. And once I actually fixed those, everything just started flowing and it just started running stable. And then I was able to concentrate on the little things. But yeah, fully functional. How awesome is that? So yeah, this is the beta 1, obviously. I don't even know if there will be a beta. Yeah, there will be a beta 2, because I've still got to link to the repositories and fine tune a lot of the themes and just concentrate on the polishing and little things. So it's coming to you very soon. Look out for it. This is going to be a huge release, because I think there's only been 1 or 2 Unity additions ever made, and as far as I know, none of them active. Which means Ubuntu is the current active Unity developer. That's it, just Ubuntu. I think Fedora made one, but quite a while ago, long ago actually. Currently at the moment, Ubuntu is the only Unity developer that I know of, which means we will be the only other one in existence that is actively developing on it. So it is a unique release. Even if you're not a Unity fan, it is at least worth trying out. I'm telling you, you really do not want to miss this. This is going to be one huge release. So yeah, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux, showing off beta version, and I guess I'll chat to you guys soon.